So are you one of those golfers who never puts it all together? One day we drive it great, but just cannot hit our irons for the life of us. But the next game, we just go out there, can't get the ball off the tee, but our iron game is amazing. And if we could just put those two bits together, maybe, just maybe, you'd start playing your best golf. So I know what you're thinking, that intro is absolutely you, isn't it? You have those days where driver's good and it's a platform for your game, but then you don't take advantage of it. But even worse are those days where you can't get off the tee, and eventually when you get back to the fairway, these shots are great. So what am I talking about? Well, if we look at the golf swing with any golf club, that golf club is moving in that circular motion around the golf swing. And it's important, and this is what the best players in the world know, it's important with the different clubs whereabouts in your circle you should be hitting the golf ball. So we're going to start with the shots from the ground. And I've said in the video irons, but this is irons, hybrids, wedges, and fairway woods. So let's get driver out the way. Now the best players in the world are fantastic at this. And what I'm going to talk about with the irons, some of you might comment about, well, you can do that with driver. You can, but if you're optimizing driver, watch till the end, because this is really going to help you hit driver as long and straight as possible and really flush those shots from the ground. So when we watch good ball strikers, they'll set up to the golf ball, they'll make that golf swing, they'll hit ball and then ground, and we'll see that kind of direction shot. And if we look at the numbers on TrackMan there, the low point of my golf swing's been 2.8 inches after the ball. The club's travelled down 4.6 degrees and it's carried 161 yards. And I think you might have heard something there about the fact that the club was travelling down as we hit the golf ball. So a lot of golfers get told that they need to hit down on the ball. But I never really want you trying to hit down, and I never want you trying to hit up with driver. What we need to understand is that when we swing, the club moves up, it moves down, reaches its lowest point and travels back up. So anytime the golf ball's on the ground, the low point should be after the golf ball and in the ground, so that we create that ball and then ground contact. And you can get up there. And even if it's not fantastic, we could see again, low point ahead, clubs travelled down 5.8 degrees and 150 yards total. But all too often with golfers, they really struggle with that skill. And I think the main reason is that in a practice swing, generally the swing feels quite good. And most golfers will touch the ground. But when they go to hit the shot, they're very focused on the golf ball and they're told to look at the ball. And I hear lots of stuff about, should you be looking at the front of the ball, the back of the ball, the top of the ball? For me, you shouldn't be looking at the golf ball at all, because golf's a static ball sport. And the whole point in us taking time getting set up is that we should swing and the golf ball should just get collected at the bottom of your swing. I know that sounds easy, doesn't it? It's very simple. So what we want to do is we want to kind of use our eyes in a different way. Rather than targeting the golf ball as the lowest point of our swing, anytime the ball's on the ground, we want to look ahead of the golf ball. So what I'd do is a little drill. I'm going to set the ball up where it would be, and I'm just going to kind of make a little line on the mat here. And you could do that on the grass, scuff a tee against the turf, or if you're on a range mat, maybe just get a piece of chalk or something. And I'm going to set up with my club level with the ball, but I'm actually going to get my eyes looking at that front line. And what I'm going to see is when I swing, can I actually get the club to hit that front line? So we're going to get there. That was good. Now, I spend a lot of time doing this, and when I do this face-to-face with golfers, just the concept of not looking on the ball really blows their mind. But generally speaking, when there's no ball there, they do it great. But then we want to introduce the ball again, maybe get that scuff mark, maybe 2.5, 3 inches ahead of the golf ball. And what we want to do is set up, look at that front line. I just got the front line there. We can see the low point on TrackMan, 4.5 inches ahead. Clubs travel down 6.4 degrees. The ball's carried 163 yards. And it never ceases to amaze me when I do this face-to-face with people, how it instantly changes their strike, their distance and their accuracy, but it also gets them moving much better. So what you tend to see when golfers focus on the ball is that they'll make a decent backswing, but on the way down, they kind of hang back, sit back, they bottom out, hit the mat, or they miss the mat and the club travels up and they top or thin it. So it's really that case of, when we're there, look ahead of the golf ball, make that swing. And again, felt solid, low point ahead, club traveling down, and a consistent distance. But hopefully working through this video with me, and if you are, comment below how, you might say weird or strange, but how different is it with you not concentrating on just trying to make contact with the golf ball, trying to learn how to touch the ground in the correct place so that we actually collect the ball earlier in the swing so that we collect golf ball and then ground like the best players in the world. Now, I've got a 7-iron in my hand here, so the ball would be very much opposite my sternum. And that would be the same for 8, 9, pitching wedge and my wedges there. So what we would find is when we're looking ahead and the ball's in the middle of the stance, that's going to have the low point the furthest ahead, and the club's therefore going to be traveling down the most by the time it gets there. When the ball's on the ground, we always want to maybe keep looking that 2-3 inches ahead. But as the clubs get longer, we just want to move the ball a little bit closer to that low point. Now, I'm going to hit this shot with 7-iron anyway, but let's say I've now got the ball maybe a couple of inches further forward. I'm still going to look just ahead of the ball, make my swing. And now that low point's only 2 inches ahead. The club's travelled down 3.6 degrees and 162 carry. And it's just simply that when the club's got more loft on it, we need the club travelling down more, so there's more shaft lean, so we get good strike, de-lofting it. As the clubs have got less loft, we still want the same concept, but not quite as exaggerated. But this is an absolute game changer for golfers when the golf ball is on the ground, that the bottom of the golf swing's now not your ball, the low point's ahead, you can stand up, make that swing, and really start hitting some super high quality shots, great strike and great distance. Now, I know some of you might watch that first bit and say, well, that's obviously me because I strike my irons great, but when I get driver in my hand, I do really struggle with that. So the key difference with driver is in a perfect world to maximize our distance, we're actually looking for the low point to be behind the golf ball so that the club's traveling up to collect the ball, launching the ball high, less spin and maximizing distance. And I said at the start, and I'm sure people will still comment, that some of the best players in the world do get their low point ahead and still hit down, but it does cost them a bit of distance. And in my opinion, most club golfers, yes, need to hit the ball a bit more accurately, but distance is a massive thing that can grow your golf and give you the better chance to score. So again, we don't want the bottom of the swing being the golf ball. So what we want to do on this one is instead of setting up with our club right behind the ball, we're going to move the ball a little bit further forward and have a slightly wider stance. So the ball might be now opposite my lead shoulder. But rather than have the club all the way behind the ball, I'm actually going to move the club head, probably a good club head width behind, and I'm actually going to look at the ground further back. Now, I'm not saying we would do this on the shot, but if you then do a similar idea of have that little mark there, and just with driver when we swing, we want to feel that you're just going to brush the ground. So we can see I definitely would have touched the ground behind the ball. And again, that was good. And again, that was good. Now, if you are enjoying today's video, please like and share it, comment below. And if you've not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. When you subscribe and watch it and engage with me, it helps that video get out there more and help more golfers. And always comment about if you'd like me to do a particular video. And if there's enough of you want me to cover something, I'll do that as a specific video. So we've done the practice swings, we've set that club head back and we've felt that we're going to brush the ground behind. Now, obviously the ball's up in the air, so we don't need to brush the ground, but we're gonna move that club head one width back, get that ball forward, make the swing and see what happens. Now, a little bit out the toe with the contact, but we see low point 3.7 inches behind the ball. The club's travelled up 2.2 degrees, 238 carry, and 294 total. Now, I know very often golfers will say, oh, why there was so much roll out there on TrackMan? Well, because I'm hitting up, I'm minimising spin, but also that one was a little bit out the toe, so it'll have dropped out the air a little bit quick, but run out. But we love the distance, and we love how accurate that was as well. Now, the problem for me when golfers start getting that low point ahead with driver, the ball's forward, everything's sliding too much towards the target, and they end up hitting the ball like that. Obviously, that club face is pointing way right, and they miss that way. Or last minute, they try and catch up, they lose the bottom of the arc, and they top it, sometimes even get right underneath it. So the low point control is probably one of the most important skills in the golf swing as far as I'm concerned. Probably one of the most misunderstood, and most golfers have never even heard of it to be aware of it. So that would be hitting up. Like I said, we don't want to try and hit up. If we control our low point, we'll correct our delivery of the club. So again, we're going to get that ball forward, set that club head, maybe the width of a club head behind, and again, make another good swing. And another one, not right out the middle, so a little bit heely with that one. But again, 4.3 inches behind, 2.6 degrees travelling up, 250 carry, 276 total, and still in the fairway. Now, obviously driver, I say to a lot of golfers, it's kind of a bit of a different beast because the ball's up in the air so much. That's why the delivery with driver can be so different. But every other shot, when the ball's on the ground, we want that low point ahead. And it is great understanding that little change in setup, but also focusing our eyes back behind the ball with driver, and when the irons are on the ground, looking ahead. But for me, this is what really makes us have those days where we drive it well and hit our approach shots well. So let's go one last one with driver. We're setting that club back, I'm looking behind the ball, making my swing. Finally found the middle of the club. That one turning over just a little bit, 4.6 inches behind, 3 degrees up, 250 carry and 303 total. So remember, we've all had those days, haven't we, where we've been great from the tee and can't hit the ball from the ground, or can't get off the tee, and when we eventually get into a place where we could hit an iron, it's been good. But the best players in the world, tee to green, are the golfers who understand how they're going to collect the ball correctly in their golf swing. So they want the low point to be behind with driver so the club can travel up, and they want the low point to be ahead with the irons so that the club's traveling down as they hit the golf ball. And if you can focus your eyes ahead or behind, don't look at the golf ball. That golf ball is the biggest killer of a nice free-flowing swing. But if you can get low point correct with driver and shots from the ground, I guarantee you're going to play the best golf you've ever played from tee to green.